California and local government experience in areas of public policy. At naging public information officer for a local municipality at dati hong editor-in-chief for a Filipino-American newspaper in Los Angeles, California. Sa ating mga kaibigan, si Ma'am Zarah Uytingban-Cruz. Ma'am Zarah, welcome to the program. And of course, kasama din po natin Sir Edison Ching. Siya po industrial hemp champion. He is advocating industrial hemp for eco-sustainability. He is also the co-founder of Sensible Philippines. Sensible Philippines is a registered non-profit advocacy and education organization focused on reform, advocating the sensible use of cannabis. And of course, ang ating po namang brain man sa ating po namang forum na ito ang nagpasimula ng advocacy na matulungan ang ating mga kababayan na mga may problema sa kalusugan. Tinawag na po siya at may bansag na siyang kaibigan sa kalusugan, ang General Manager po ng Bauer Tech Corporation, none other than our boss, Richard Nixon Gomez.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat, sa lahat ng mga nanonood, sa lahat ng ating mga tagapakinig sa ating Media Health Forum. Layunin po natin magbigay ng tamang impormasyon sa mas marami nating mga kababayan. Advance information lang po. This week, darating ang Indian Ayush Ministry or Ministry of Health ng India. Isa lang sa buong Pilipinas ang pharmaceutical company na kanilang papasyalan. Yan ang Bauer Tech Corporation. At isa lang din ang Naturopath Center na kanilang papasyalan. Yan din ang kaibigan sa kalusugan. Pagkatapos doon ay pupunta na po sila sa Department of Health. Yan ay mangyayari ngayong Wednesday, June 14.
Thank you, sir. At yung ating mga kasama po naman sa larangan ng broadcast, bagamat ang iba ay wala dito dahil nga po sa pagbabago ng mukha ng broadcasting, marami tayong mga kasama ngayon ang nanonood via online sa ating Facebook Live, sa ating YouTube Live na ngayon ay naka-online. At yung kanilang mga katanungan, probably ay idadaan na rin nila dun sa kanilang mga text. Ito naman kasama din natin ang namumuno sa social media ng Pilipinas, si Kaka. Kasama natin. Lakay! Welcome muna ang ating mga panauhin din. Gumamit ka ng mic, Lakay, at naka-on air tayo. Ayan.
Thank you. Welcome. Magandang tanghali. Magandang hapon. Magandang gabi sa lahat ng ating mga suki sa Health Forum. Ang tanong hindi pa kayo napagod? Leia and Edison? Hindi pa kayo pagod?
Okay pa. Nakakape naman eh. may kape naman eh. Laman naman.
Leia. Statement. Hindi pa kayo napapagod?
Hindi pa naman po. Maaga pa.
Ano naman, simula pa lang tayo, gusto mo lang pagurin.
Wala kaming hangover.
Anyway, yan pong bahagi na yan ay pagpapasigla lamang sa ating program. So simulan na natin ang ating proper discussions. Unahin natin si Ma'am Zarah sapagkat itong bagay na ito ay matagal na rin niyang sabi nga natin ay ipinaglalaban at the same time. Ma'am, ano ba ang kalakaran ngayon itong huling paghanap niyo dati sa Senate? At the same time, ano bang sa pakiramdam mo ang pananaw ngayon ng ating mga legislators na kung saan ina-address natin itong ating advocacy?
Good morning, everyone. Maligayang araw ng kalayaan.
Marunong na siya mag-Tagalog.
Practice ko yun. So, anyway, yeah. So, it was, parang 6 months ago, when I was called to be a resource person sa Senado for Senator Padilla's bill. So I was actually hoping mag-start na yung technical working group, but I guess, we'll have to wait a few more months or I don't know. But the status, I think ang mas fresh bill na nandun ngayon is on decriminalization, which was the bill proposed by Congressman Alvarez. And your question on ano ang potential pananaw dito ng mga fellow legislators, I think same as the last time I was here, we have to keep talking about it para slowly ma-shift natin yung public opinion. There's still a stigma on cannabis, and it's not only sa public, dun din sa mga legislators. So for a congressman supporting a cannabis-related bill, especially decriminalization, this is a big lift. Malaking effort to kasi paano nila explain sa mga constituents nila na I'm supporting a bill na potentially papalayain natin lahat ng mga drug addicts na nakakulong. Siyempre hindi pa warmed up or hindi pa tanggap yun ng society natin. So dahan-dahan lang. And I guess itong forum na to is a big help in keeping the conversation alive. And naniniwala ako bilang dating periodista dito sa power natin as media na tuloy-tuloy lang nating pag-usapan to. Keep it in the news, and eventually the more we talk about it, the less and less taboo the subject becomes, and dahan-dahan magbabago yung opinion ng mga tao tungkol dito kung ano talaga yung cannabis. That it's a plant. It's not, drugs that the way they portray it. So,
Right, thank you ma'am. So, unti-unti ay maliliwanagan din ho yung mga nalalabuan. So, ang isang nating kasama din ay nauugnay din po sa industriyang ito. Pero kanina nga, admittedly, nilapitan ko si Boss Richard. Tinanong ko, Boss, ano ba yung hemp? Ano ba yung industrial hemp? Kasi sabi ko, hindi ako pamilyar. So, sino sir ang dapat magbigay muna ng kapaliwanagan? Si Sir Edison Ching ay isa ho sa involved dito at siya ang tinatawag na industrial hemp champion advocating the industrial hemp. Sir, could you kindly give us kung ano yung pangkalahatang dapat na maging pananaw dito sa area po ninyo ng expertise ninyo?
Hello, testing.
What is industrial hemp at the same time?
Would you like the short story or the long version na kompleto na? Simulan na natin to. Simulan na natin yung why we're here. All right, sige po. Good morning, everybody. I want to express gratitude ko for the opportunity to speak about industrial hemp. And I'm thankful for the opportunity, sir, and then for the Media Health Forum. Okay, so my topic is about industrial hemp, and it's I'm gonna talk about hemp heals humanity, the mind-altering story of industrial cannabis. Bale, as was mentioned earlier, hemp, it's just a plant. Cannabis is just a plant, and the medicine part of it that we're really needing to be taking care of, talagang tinutukan natin sa Senado, sa Congress, that is an important thing. However, the medicine is just scratching the surface. There's so much more. There's more than a medicine when it comes to the plant of cannabis. Now, I would just want to share a brief story about myself. Ako rin, my Edison Ching. Like si Ma'am Zarah, I grew up in California, in Los Angeles. And however, we moved to the Philippines here to start a new life in my teens. When I arrived here in Manila, I knew very little about the city. I had to discover what it meant to truly belong here. And so nagtanong ako sa mga friends ko and family na paano ba natin malaman, matuto talaga about how the Filipino people, yun yung culture nila. And I discovered that majority here sa Philippines, it's about basketball and religion. Kung alam nyo talaga to, you have a pretty good idea of what the Filipinos really matter in their hearts. And I know it's funny, but there's a lot of truth in this. Now, time passed, of course, and I embarked on a journey to continue to learn more about the Filipino people. And it was when I visited the Coconut Palace in Pasay, the former office of the Vice President, that really mesmerized my young mind. The Coconut Palace, it has an amazing claim. Every piece of the house, where from chairs to tables to the walls to the roofs, Lahat yan may coconut. It was a project that showcased the skillful use of coconuts by the Filipino people. With care, creativity, and craftsmanship, pinakita ng Filipino that we can accomplish remarkable things with the gifts that binigay ng Diyos sa atin. Yung ganyan, halaman lang yan. Coconuts, also referred to as the tree of life, possesses countless uses. Niisip ko lang yung moments na, di ba, naglilinis tayo ng sahig natin, gumagamit tayong bunot, and umiinom tayo ng coconuts. And nakita ko rin yan yung coconut na biodiesel. Coconut biodiesel. That's oil derived from plants. Yun yung sa mga gas natin sa kotse and stuff like that. And that really intrigued my eco-conscious mind. The idea of a plant that produces oil seems almost divine. Now, this is where yung scientific story begins. Growing up, I understood that gas for oil in cars were sourced from deep underground with fossil fuels. The concept of growing oil from plants seemed fantastic, and I wanted to learn more. So I explored different plants, and while many produced oil, the most valuable plant, or MVP, was industrial hemp. Now, industrial hemp, yun. Now, similar to coconuts, industrial hemp offers numerous possibilities. Ang daming pwede gawin. It's robust and versatile, a true champion. And just like coconuts, industrial hemp thrives here in the Philippines, in the Philippine climate, making it a perfect match. However, unlike coconuts, industrial hemp, which is a class of cannabis, remains illegal here in the Philippines. Quick background on the history of industrial hemp. My study revealed so much. It's been one of the most wildly cultivated crops throughout history. The medicine is just scratching the surface of what we know. Cannabis has a name in every language. From ancient pyramids, even all the way back to biblical times, civilizations have already been using industrial hemp for their lives. When you have hemp, you have food, clothing, and even shelter. It played a crucial role in business from Europe to China, and history has shown that it's been used throughout. So, however, in medyo modern times, through the Industrial Revolution, the arrival of cheaper alternatives dealt a blow to hemp's dominance. Hemp fibers were replaced by softer cotton, and hemp paper, like this, were replaced by paper from trees. Hemp paper. And then hemp rope, they were replaced by synthetic ropes like nylon, which is stronger. New technologies emerged, replacing hemp. Then came the devastating blow when recreational use and the perception of cannabis as a social ill. So the miracle plant became the forbidden one. Oops. Nevertheless, thanks to a group that advocates for medicinal use and people in politics, the world again is turning their attention to industrial hemp. And in the Philippines, a group like the Medical Cannabis, the Medical Cannabis Party, they're spearheading the efforts. So I want to take this moment muna to acknowledge and thank the hardworking organizations that are really making the big effort in the political scene, like say Ma'am Zarah, plus the politicians in Congress and in the Senate, for doing what we can to change the laws in the Philippines. We acknowledge the Philippine Society of the Doctors, the Kind of Hopefuls, Sensible Philippines, and 420 Philippines for their efforts and their amazing work in helping out in spreading the word and keeping the conversation going. Now, outside our country, scientists are uncovering new frontiers beyond our current knowledge. For eco-activists like myself, Hemp holds tremendous potential in cleaning up various industries. A significant sector is in construction. Currently, through construction, it accounts for a big part of yung mga what they call carbon emissions. So if you're aware of the climate challenges that we have these days, we really have to look for more sustainable mga materials. Masyado na marami yung concrete na ginagamit natin, masyado na tayo malakas mag-pollute, and things need to change because we're going through something. The world is changing, and we need to really change what we do. We can't do what we've been doing before. Another significant sector. So, what they're doing is they've actually made houses from hemp. Hempcrete is what they call it. Is a concrete substitute. It's natural, non-toxic, and breathable. That serves as a very good substitute. It's eco-friendly and has received eco-approvals from many scientists all over the world. It's remarkable to witness buildings constructed primarily from hempcrete, from a single plant. So a lot like what we have with the Coconut Palace here, they're already doing in other countries. They're building homes with industrial hemp and cannabis. Nakakatawa yan. Another eco challenge these days is deforestation. What we knew then, paper from trees is better than hemp, no longer rings true. Too much deforestation needs to slow down in order to prevent the climate disaster. Going back to hemp production can be a big help. Hemp grows rapidly and can be harvested quickly. And new technologies have made the outputs very similar. So this kind of paper, this is the old technology, but the new paper from hemp, it looks exactly the same as the regular paper na nabibili natin in anywhere else. The same thing with hemp fabrics today. Like this shirt, this shirt is made of hemp. Yeah, this is made of hemp fibers. So, mas maganda na siya. Ito.
Nakakalusot naman sa airport, hindi ka sinisinghot ng aso.
So far, so good. So far, so good. So, while cotton's advantage 100 years ago were that it was softer, we now know that there are long-term consequences. Cotton, yes, it was softer, but cotton per yard uses 100 times more water and 100 times more toxic pesticides than hemp. And unlike cannabis, it actually leaves the soil barren after use. So talagang, for the lack of a better term, nalalaspag yung lupa sa mga cotton plants. Unlike hemp, it actually improves the soil quality, making it a heck of a lot more sustainable. The scientific community is actively researching ways to enhance the softness of the hemp fibers. And then, so now going back to the topic hemp oil, plant-derived oil, there's hemp oil, and it continues its remarkable growth. The plant-derived oil, ang dami pwede gawin. Now they're actually making plastics out of it as well. Now across the globe, countries are conducting a lot of research on industrial cannabis, driven by the urgency to combat the impending climate crisis. The United States, European Union, Canada, and Thailand, and other nations are actively exploring how to harness industrial hemp's benefits. While no plant is perfect, hemp stands out as a gift from a higher power to scientists, a valuable contributor, and the MVP in the fight against climate change. Now, sadly, in the Philippines, every single aspect of the cannabis plant remains illegal. So no research has been done. In other countries, hemp is allowed for cultivation and use and research. But the way the Philippine laws is, sigurista tayo. So talagang lahat ng cannabis, including industrial hemp, remains illegal. But that doesn't mean hindi tayo nag-try. A few years ago, myself with a group of scientists from the Department of Science and Technology and the UP College of Engineering, we presented a research to the Dangerous Drugs Board to conduct research on batteries derived from material made of cannabis. And unfortunately, permission was denied because it still remains illegal. And of course, the professors, I mean, basta for them, as long as we get the permit and clearance, go sila. Since we didn't get it, okay, that's better luck next time. And we're hoping that next time will come sooner rather than later.
Can I butt in?
Apo.
Maganda masyado yung sinasabi mo dyan about batteries derived from hemp and
Apa.
so on, and clothing and so on. And you also mentioned the Department of Science and Technology.
Apa.
On the third week of November, magkakaroon ng National Inventors Week. And that will be a good opportunity. I will do my best to make sure na meron kang isang booth doon kung meron tayong mga display materials from hemp so that we can showcase it to the scientific community. Gawin natin, ha?
Wonderful.
Anyway, yun ang paliwanag patungkol sa industrial hemp. Pero nagkakaroon ng quite confusions, Boss Richard, dito sa cannabis and hemp. Ano ba ang masasabi natin na distinctions na pinagkaiba ng dalawa? Tulad ng hemp na napakaraming produktong nagagawa, yung marijuana ba ay meron din ganon? Mga products from cannabis?
The short answer is yes. Bale, the way that yung distinction nila is in scientific way is the content of THC. It's actually different for many countries. In the United States, cannabis is considered hemp if it's 0.3% or less of THC. In Colombia, it's 1% or less the THC. And in the European Union, it's 0.2%. So the way it's classified, medyo iba-iba, kanya-kanyang classification.
But to top it all, magkamag-anak sila.
Yes. Magpinsan sila.
Zarah, tama.
Magpinsan sila.
May anything, ma'am?
Yung maliit na distinction na yon, that spelled the difference in the US kung bakit legal ang hemp and cannabis is not. Kasi yung 0.3%, dahil ganun kababa yung THC niya, it was classified as an industrial plant and legalized siya under the Farm Bill of 2018. Whereas yung cannabis hanggang ngayon, we're still struggling to reschedule it sa US drug substance scheduling. So, yeah, that's the difference.
Just to give yung perspective, 0.3%. Kung tutusin, maliit yan. Pero sa ginagawa ng Bauer Tech ngayon, may mga halaman, nag-extraction tayo. Long pepper, siling haba. Kinukuha ko doon ng piperine. That is only 0.1%. Pinagtsatsagaan ko ma-extract yung 0.1% to get piperine and use it as part of the products that we manufacture in Bauer Tech. There's another one, curcumin. The content of curcumin sa turmeric is 0.2% up to 0.5%. Pinagtsatsagaan kong hanapin yon, kunin yon para mabuo ang PiCure. Now, when we're talking about 0.3% or less, sabi nyo, ay napakaliit naman, baliwala yan. Actually, sa pharmaceutical side, kayang kunin yon at kayang gawing gamot yun. Yun nga lang, technical description is, pag 0.3 or lower, hemp na siya. Kumbaga, sa common na tao, wala na siya masyadong value, di ba? On the street.
And also, just one more point, no, yung THC is the psychoactive ingredient of the cannabis plant. Yung CBD, that's the medicinal aspect. So yun yung when lagi natin naririnig yung CBD and THC, CBD is the medical ingredient and then THC is the psychoactive ingredient.
Yung THC, ito yung maging happy-happy ka. Yung CBD, gagaling ka sa maraming karamdaman. Although yung THC, meron din siyang medical value. Meron din. Pero yung THC, ang nagpapa-high, nagbibigay ng high effect.
Edison, kasama ba kayo grupo ng nag-advocate ng ang marijuana ay gawing gamot?
Opo, yes sir. And yung also another distinction then when it comes to yung sa gamot, yung sa marijuana, again, halaman lang siya. So, yung the medicine part of it, yan yung bulaklak. Yan yung parang prutas. Doon nanggagaling yung gamot talaga. When it comes to sa industrial hemp, parang yung nasabi ko about the coconut, it's ginagamit yung stems, yung leaves, napapakinabangan din naman yon in a way that can be used in an industrial way. So yung mga medicinal sa flower or sa yung fruit of the tree ang ginagamit, but the rest pwede pang pakinabangan. Yun po yung talagang ginagamit for industrial use.
Parang technically, pwede tayo mag-grow, halimbawa lang kasi ngayon illegal pa, pati hemp sa Philippines, di ba? Kung ang in-approve lang sa atin hemp, hindi cannabis. So industrial ang direction niya. Pero technically speaking, kaya pa rin natin gawing gamot yung natitira doon mula sa buds. Very low psychoactive content and yet may medical use siya. And since wala na siyang THC, baka hindi nakakailanganin ng S2 prescription or yellow prescription.
Sa madalit sabi, mga sir, mga ma'am, yung medical hemp ay pwedeng, gaya ng sinasabi ng ating guest, from fruits to top ay magagamit natin. Ito bang marijuana at the same time ay pwedeng magkaganon, Boss Richard, na mapakinabangan din natin all of part ng marijuana from the stem?
What is cannabis?
Cannabis.
Well, actually, it's the same. I mean, we have to, atras muna tayo kasi yung sa terminology po ng marijuana. Marijuana po is just a nickname. There's no real scientific use of it. Marijuana is cannabis. So, it's an interesting story too. I heard, may narinig din ako before. The word marijuana was derived when there was a story there na parang people are asking, is yung sa states to. Parang the mga leaders, nagtatanong nga sila, ano ba yung, so what does it feel? How does it feel like when you use this? So, nag-smoke sila. And maraming mga Pilipino, ang sagot nila dun is, mahiwaga. 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 And then the Americans, okay, marijuana. And then they went off from there. But in a technical sense, cannabis is marijuana. And it's just, iba lang yung, parang nickname lang niya, yung nangyari.
Nagkaroon tayo ng background ng marijuana sa States. So sounds like lang pala yun.
Like, yung sagot mahiwaga, mahiwaga. Okay, that works. Yun na yun.
Just to clarify, lahat ng nakukuha sa industrial hemp, pwede ba siyang kunin sa industrial cannabis?
Lahat yes, kasi it's, especially for industrial cannabis, it's the stems, yung leaves, yung roots, yung seeds, doon po nanggagaling yung for industrial use. Yes, kaya na.
Speaking of capability ng pag-extract ng nasabing cannabis, Boss Richard, papasok dito ang papel ng Bauer Tech Corporation, the Filipino-owned company of yours. Capable ba na? Kaya na ba?
Kung extraction na pag-uusapan, mas economical, mas malaki ang yield kung sa cannabis tayo kukuha. Iniisip ko lang din just looking na what if hemp ang ma-approve sa Philippines? Kakayanin din natin yan because of process of extraction. 0.1% sinatsaga ko nga eh. Yan pa kayang 0.3% kakayanin natin yan. And by the way, just to share, 2 weeks ago, I was invited as a speaker sa International Conference on Climate Change Adaptation and Disaster Risk Reduction Management. And my topic was the use of high-value crops for agricultural adaptation. And I mentioned 2. One is turmeric, the second one is cannabis. I mentioned also the high sequestration, carbon sequestration capability of cannabis. Hindi ko nasama hemp, pero basically almost the same thing yan eh. That inirank ko sila in terms of carbon sequestration. Bamboo is very good. Mango is very good. May economical value pa. Pero ang cannabis is in between pa, higher than mango and lower than bamboo. Kaya bukod doon sa mga napag-usapan natin na medical, industrial nga, nabanggit din niya kanina, is about climate change. Yes, that was my topic. The use of high-value crops for agricultural adaptation in climate change.
Yung cannabis ay may sasabi natin na kaya niya mag-adapt sa anumang uri ng weather. Si ma'am, naging familiar dun sa mga plantations ng cannabis at doon sa kanilang lugar. Kasi dito kasi atin tinatawag lang damo, di ba? Madali ba talagang tumutubo yan? O nakapag-adapt doon sa land na kung saan siya nakikita?
Yes, historically, tumutubo siya kahit saan. But, ngayon, in this environment, and in California, majority, no, I'm not gonna say majority, yung in the urban cities, cannabis is grown in warehouses and indoor. Mas madali, mas na-manipulate mo yung day and night, daytime and nighttime, and it's very scientific na ngayon yung growing. But even in environments where, yung mga cities or jurisdictions na outdoor lang ang grow nila, actually mas maganda yung quality, mas malalaki yung plants, mas matataba yung mga dahon niya. But I guess it depends on yung need ng sa production or manufacturing. Pwedeng it grows indoors and outdoors.
Ba't ka pa umuwi dito? ba't ka pa umuwi? Samantalang sa Amerika, napakadali, di ba?
Alam ko lang po ikwento, hindi ako marunong magtanim. Wala akong green thumb.
Same. Ganun din. Lahat ng kahit na mga lettuce namamatay sa akin. None whatsoever.
May share ko lang ay kanina nabanggit ni Edwin, yung mga growing conditions. 4 ang common na growing condition yan eh. Yung isa, yung wild lang, tumutubo lang sa bundok. I've been there, nakapunta na ako sa bundok, tumutubo lang siya talaga. Parang talahib lang, tabi-tabi lang. Bunutin, sunugin, nahulog ang buto, tutubo na naman ulit. Damo lang talaga siya. Hindi siya ganun ka-efficient kasi walang spacing eh. Siksikan sila, so medyo payat, matamlay ang kulay ng dahon, hindi masyado lumalaki. Pero tubo lang sila ng tubo. In terms of volume, napakarami nila. Isa naman yung outdoor farming. Ito yung naka-space out na. Either 1 meter apart, pero kung malaki ang variety nung tinatanim, 2 meters apart pa yan. Isang dipa. Ang pagitan, hektarya, tapos may ilaw pa to extend the amount of light or sunlight na nandun siya at certain periods of time ng growth nila, tapos naka-drip irrigation pa yan, pero outdoor. Meron din naman naka-greenhouse. Napapansin ko lang sa greenhouse, mas maliliit na konti yung variety. Meron namang indoor, totally indoor, pwede sa loob ng building. Yun ang pinakamahal na pagtanim niyan. May, yung moisture, humidity, temperature, binabantayan pa lahat yan eh. Kaya sa atin sa Philippines, yung outdoor, hindi yung wild, outdoor farming siya, greenhouse, might be very ideal sa atin dito sa Philippines.
Alright, doon sa ating mga kasama sa media, Sir Mil, baka mayroon kang katanungan at the same time.
Yung Israel kasi is already allowing the use of medical aspect of the cannabis, you know. Are they also utilizing yung makukuha sa fiber which you espouse?
Yung stems nila. Well, I've actually did do some naka-research na rin ako konti tungkol sa ano yung ginagawa sa Israel. And yes, ang dami din nila na research. Specifically what? I don't know off the top of my head. Pero knowing how they work, how they operate, lahat yan gagawin, papakinabangan nila yan. And I'm sure I can find some research for you na they're using it for many different purposes.
Merong nabanggit ko kanina, sorry, sisingit ako tungkol sa Israel, ha? Nabanggit ko 4 na growing conditions. May kalamang paraan ng pag-produce ng cannabis. Ginagamit sa Israel. Hindi pa widespread, pero ginagamit nila to using bioreactor. Cloning. Sa loob ng makina, ilalagay doon ng source tissue, ilalagay doon, papadamihin, sa loob ng mga 14 to 21 days, ma-harvest na nila yon. Unlike sa atin sa wild, 14 weeks, 16 weeks sa pag magtatanim tayo. Sila tutubo, yung tissue na lang mismo. Wala na ugat, wala ng tangkay, wala ng dahon. The cannabis itself inside bioreactors. Dati, ginagamit ang mga bioreactors. Halimbawa, gagawa ako ng probiotics. Meron akong seed probiotic, ilalagay ko sa isang bioreactor worth several millions, and then isa-cycle ko siya hanggang lalabas na mapuproduce ko na yung mga probiotics ko, non-stop yan. Ginamit nila the same technology in Israel. Hindi lahat ng cannabis nila galing sa bioreactor. Pero it is a very efficient way of producing cannabis in Israel. Panglimang paraan, hindi ko na binanggit kanina.
Yung sa inyo pong research, ay importante yung income potential sa hemp at saka sa meron na ba kayong nagawang sort of projection that will convince our legislators na ito magiging income natin? Do you have that one already prepared?
Meron po rin. Actually, cannabis as an industry as a whole is projected to be over like 150 billion US dollars, 180 by 2030. 180 billion US dollars by the year 2030, and industrial hemp kasama po doon since kaya na gumawa ng mga buildings, mga bahay, and mga fabrics and things of that nature, mga tulad ng mga damit na suot ko ngayon.
Right, thank you, Mil. Meron pa tayong mga kasama dyan na gusto magtanong. Question lang kay Ma'am Zarah, ano ba ang nakita niyo yung nagiging balakid ngayon o sabi nga hadlang para patuloy nating maibukas yung isip? Dahil ikaw naging cover ka rin sa media. Sa panahon natin, may mga article 9265 kung ano-ano pa mga laban sa drugs. Ano ba ang nakikita mong nagiging pinakamabigat na, sabi nga natin, balakid ngayon dito sa ating sinusulong na advocacy?
Actually, madami. Kasi,
Nga nang hinga mo eh.
yeah, I mean, it's going to take a big effort talaga. First of all, I'm gonna start with lack of information or lack of education on the part of our leaders. I will start there. Yeah, misinformation too. Kasi, and it's one thing kung walang information available. There's research available from all over the world. It's a matter of, gamitin natin yung information that's available to us. Ibukas natin yung mga mata natin sa information na available naman. And then number 2, yung stigma. Pag na-associate ka with someone or something associated with cannabis, parang negative na yung like I was saying earlier, yung votes or yung support for decriminalization, may malaking stigma yun kasi if you are a legislator and you're associated with a bill na supposedly advocating for drug addicts, then yung guilt by association, that's very real in the Philippines. Parang if you're supporting drug addicts, you're also a drug addict yourself. So yun, that's another issue. And then number 3, I guess it's the whole attitude, yung in denial and refusal to acknowledge that we are way behind other countries. Parang yung, and also yung attitude na, you know, just because you're in the position of authority, ikaw na yung, you know, what you believe in is, you know, the right thing. But there are, you know, and again, I call on, you know, to keep our minds open and be open to, you know, alternative routes and more creative routes to get there, to legalization.
So as straight declarations, should we decriminalize itong paggamit ng cannabis?
Well, the short answer is yes, but realistically, I mean, in this day and age, I think in the society that we live in, and then dito sa Pilipinas, again, it's going to be, I mean, if legalization is a huge effort, etong decriminalization is a heavier lift. Yeah, yun na nga yung guilt by association. That's very real. But we can take baby steps. And one of the things that I think we should consider is maybe baby steps nga. What if we can give cannabis, those people now convicted with cannabis crimes, a resentencing hearing? Meaning, you know, we give them a second chance, appear before a different judge, and then etong judge na to can take into consideration yung background nila. First-time offense ba nila? Or may violence bang involved dun sa arrest? Or gaano ba kadami yung nahuli sa kanila? Baka naman personal quantity, and they're just, you know, smoking a joint. So, I mean, to them, it's a big deal. But, you know, do they really belong in prison with mga hardcore drug offenders, like people who use opioids and heroines? Today, dapat ba talaga magkasama sila sa kulungan? Parang hindi naman yata tama yun.
Actually, naging mukhang napakinggan din tayo ng Department of Justice sapagkat lately, yung isa sa mga campaign ngayon ng Department of Justice sa pangunguna ni Secretary Boying Remulla is to congest yung ating mga city girls, yung mga less crimes like nitong mga na-involve sa marijuana taking or paggamit ng marijuana, mukhang binababa na nila yung kaso. Yun ang maganda, yung development.
Yeah, napakagandang balita nun kung basa sa batas. Yeah, I mean that's great news.
Boss Richard, yung ating kapabilidad dito sa development sapagkat ikaw as a scientist inventor, maraming mga complexities na binabanggit dito sa paggawa nito. Pinpointed na ba ng inyong laboratory kung ano yung pwede nating mapakinabangan at magamit para sa kapakanan ng ating mga nangangailangan ng gamot na ito manggagaling sa marijuana?
First of all, meron tayong plantation. Ginagamit para sa mga medicinal plants. What will it take to convert, assuming approved na ng batas natin, what will it take to convert ang ating plantation na ngayon ay may mga halamang gamot into cannabis plantation? Very easy. Walang major changes. Nandun na yung plantation natin. Second, meron tayong processing facility within the plantation. What will it take to convert it? Very easy. Ang kailangan lang natin, approval lang. Third, meron tayong manufacturing facility approved by FDA to manufacture pharmaceutical drugs, food, or even cosmetics. What will it take to manufacture cannabis na naka-capsule or naka-oil within our facility? Very easy. Kumbaga, sige, bukas gawin natin. Parang ganun lang. Now, we have to do testing. Yung microbiome testing for yeast, mold, E. coli, salmonella, for all plants including cannabis. Can we do that in BauerTech? Yes. Can we test for heavy metal and other contaminants? Yes. Can we test the purity of each individual substance? How much CBD, CBG, or THC inside the material? Yes. When can we do that? Anytime. Do we have the capability? Yes. Marami ng government officials na nagpunta sa BauerTech. Marami mambabatas, lalo na yung may kinalaman sa proposal whether to approve or not ang cannabis. At namangha sila na oo nga, totoo pa lang sinasabi. May capability ang Pilipinas na gumawa ng gamot mula sa cannabis. Pangalawa, marami rin bukod sa mga mababatas, mga government agencies, Department of Science and Technology, ang dalawa ng ating secretary na nakapunta roon, mga USEC, pati sa Department of Agriculture has been there. Department of Environment and Natural Resources have been there. They are all convinced na locally in the Philippines, kaya nating gumawa ng gamot mula sa cannabis.
Gano'n na kayo kalapit sa pagpuno kay...
Mike, laki.
Gano'n kayo kalapit kay Bongbong? Mataal, wala pa?
Hindi, siguro. Ito, siguro yung ginagawa nga nating advocacy na ito na paggamit ng social medium, ng mainstream media, imposibleng hindi nakakarating yan sa Pangulo. Oh,
Sa NIW,
oo.
darating yata si Bongbong doon eh.
Yes.
Yes, siya invited na opening. Kasama, may exhibit ka doon sa NIW, National Inventors Week. And yung second day noon will be Cannabis Congress. So the whole day will have speakers about cannabis. So, andun yung mga ilang mababatas din. Imbitahin din natin.
Bilis ng oras. Oh, still have 12 minutes bago tayo magtapos. But anyway,
Isisingit ko lang.
Oo.
Alam niyo kung paano nire-respeto ang kakayanan ng Pilipinas? Nabanggit ko nga kanina ang Indian Ayush Ministry. Dalawa ang Ministry of Health nila. Isang conventional at saka isang traditional. Ayush Ministry is the traditional health ministry ng India. They will fly all the way just to visit Bowertech. And after Bowertech, they will go to the Department of Health. Nakakatuwa. Alam niyo kung bakit? Our Department of Health has never been to Bowertech.
Nakakatuwa ba yun o ironically? But anyway, itong si Sir Edison, nabasa ko rin dito as a co-founder of Sensible Philippines. Could you kindly give us ano ba yung particular na, a hint lang ng Sensible Philippines na grupo ninyo? About it.
Okay. It's mostly about the education, the re-education, and the promoting of cannabis use. Kasi as mentioned nga earlier, maraming misinformation dyan and outdated information tungkol sa cannabis. So, yung organization, we strive to just educate as many people as we can parang to keep the conversation going para maintindihan natin ano ba talaga nangyayari. Especially outside the Philippines. Kasi I hate to say this, pero napag-iwanan na tayo talaga sa mga nangyayari all over the world.
So, should I say, Ma'am Zarah, as sa other guest natin, ang problema natin dito yung astigma dito sa ating sinusulong na advocacy?
Yeah, malaking, it's a big factor, yung stigma. Yun na nga, anytime. And, informally, I ask people, pag nalaman nila that I work in the cannabis space. So, tatanong ko sila if they support legalization. So, pag narinig nila yung term na medical, they're all for it. Parang, okay, sige, everybody knows someone who's been, helped by cannabis, gumamit ng cannabis na improve yung medical condition nila. But if in the back of their, tanggalin mo yung word na medical and automatically parang, drugs to. Diba? Parang biglang, it's the same plant. It's the same plant that you use para mag-treat sa'yo ng medical condition mo. It's the same plant that you use recreationally. But it's night and day. We're not there yet. And that's our goal. To get there, to raise awareness, this is just a plant. It's not a Frankenstein creature created in a lab na dapat katakutan. So, yun ang goal natin, raise awareness, continue to educate the public, and you are a critical component in that goal. Keep it in the news. Pag-usapan natin lagi. Habang pinag-uusapan natin to, nagiging normal na topic to. Para hindi na siya taboo. Hindi na anytime marinig nila cannabis, naisip nila agad, drugs to.
That is from a journalistic point of view. Sapagkat for all you know, si Ma'am Zarah is a former journalist kasama natin dito sa media. Sir Richard, so itong mga bagay na ito na kinakaharap nating challenges ngayon, so far, kahit saang makarating, ay maipariliwanag mo yung kakayahan ng Pilipino. Ikaw ang pangunahin dyan sapagkat ikaw nga ang nagsusulong nito. kaya na natin?
Kaya ng Pilipino. Kaya natin ito. Sa mga hindi naniniwala, tawagan niyo ako. Ito cellphone number ko. Bibigay ko.
Lakay, baka may mga karagdagang ka pang katanungan, Lakay. Ikaw ay, once upon a time, Lakay, nakagamit ka ba ng marijuana?
Hindi pa.
Sa edad mo na yan?
Sorry.
Ha?
Sorry.
Ha?
Sorry.
Oh,
Hindi
sa-
pa.
oh.
Hindi pa.
Pero langis, gagamitin mo. Alam mo ba pwedeng gawing langis daw yung marijuana, sabi ni Boss Richard?
Ako taga-Baguio pero
Oh, yan.
minsan,
Ah.
hindi pa ako nakatikim yan.
Pero sa Baguio, nakita mo, normal na tinatanim yan. Oo.
Ikikwento ko lang sandali Nakatila ko, tama ba puno ng mangga yan? Yung malaki na yan? Lahat ng bagay, kapag sinobrahan, makakasama. Manggang yan, pag nagbunga yan na isang kaeng, kinain mo, hindi ka makakapasok sa trabaho mga 1 linggo. Di ba? O ganun din. Meron kang CKD o nagdadialysis ka, huwag kang kakain ng malunggay, bawal sa yan. Huwag kang kakain ng saging, bawal sa iyo yan. So, lahat ng bagay na sobra ay masama. Ang cannabis, gamot yan. Pag sinobrahan mo, masama din yan. Katulad ng mangga na yan. Katulad ng saging, katulad ng malunggay.
Lahat ng sobra, masama. Ang pag-ibig lang ang hindi. Ikaw, pakilala po tayo.
Nolan Ariola, Radio Veritas, Leader News Philippines. Sir Edison, ano po yung pagkakaiba ng hemp sa marijuana? Yung hemp po. Hemp,
Hemp
sa
and marijuana. Okay. Bale, yung na-mention ko earlier, yung marijuana, nickname lang siya actually. So, yun yung pinaka-essence ng yung word ng marijuana to begin with. Yung hemp naman, tsaka sa cannabis, hemp siya yung cannabis na plant, na variation na konti lang yung THC. Yung at 0.3 or below. The best visual siguro, I mean, hindi maganda, I mean, this is not a perfect comparison, pero parang meron tayong yung pakwan natin na may buto and meron din tayong pakwan na wala, di ba? So, yung hemp parang siya yung walang buto. But it's hindi magandang comparison yun, pero at least there's may visual tayo na parang yun yung pinagkaiba sa kanila.
Ina-acknowledge din natin, we'd like to acknowledge yung ating mga viewers and listeners dito sa ating social media page. Di man natin mabanggit, ang dami nilang mga nag-text dito. Isa lang doon sa nakita natin, si Yoni Ju ay watching from Valenzuela City. I have a friend from California and she tell me more about the cannabis and how to help those person yung epileptic problem. So please support medical cannabis here in the Philippines. So marami tayong mga support. Salamat po doon sa mga nanonood sa atin ngayon at the same time. Si Elisa Galban ay meron din. Grabe, ang laki po pala ng pwedeng maitulong sa atin ng cannabis. Hindi lang gamot, ang daming pwedeng gawin sa cannabis makatutulong sa ating industry. Si Francis Salas ay meron din. Yes, dapat maging bukas na ang isipan ng bawat isa, lalo na sa ating bansa sa paggamit ng medical cannabis. Marami ang matutulungan, lalo na sa mga may karamdaman. Ito po yung mga live na pumapasok ngayon dito sa ating live Facebook page. At hindi po namin gawa-gawa yan. Iyan ay galing mismo sa ating mga viewers at ilang mga bukas ang isipan supporting this advocacy na mabuksan ang legalization sa paggamit po ng cannabis. Sir, nasa huling bahagi na tayo. So,
Maraming salamat sa lahat ng sumusubaybay sa Media Health Forum, sa lahat ng advocates ng cannabis. Naniniwala po ako na maraming matutulungan ito. Medically, ang daming gagaling dito. Economically, sa buong Pilipinas, bilyong-bilyon ang papasok na buwis. Trabaho, may bibigay natin sa sambayanan natin. Nagpapasalamat ako kay Ms. Zarah, kay Mr. Edison, sa kanilang advokasya. They are experts on this field. Ms. Zarah, siya ang nanguna sa cannabis program sa Sacramento, na unang-una naman sa California. At si Mr. Edison ay matagal na niyang pinag-aralan ng industrialized hemp. Pag dumating ang panahon magandang negosyo yan, maraming tao ang matutulungan yan sa Pilipinas.
May bago na palang grupo ngayon, ang tawag nila Canna All. Di ba, no, nakita mo? Di ba tama, nauuso yung kasabihan na Sana All, ito naman Canna All. Pero mayroong isang reaction, si Nida Autensyal. Good morning po sa lahat. Nawa ibigay po sa atin at basbasan ng pamahalaan upang magamit na sa kagalingan ng maraming may karamdaman ng cannabis. Malaking tulong po ito sa science at maraming may karamdaman ang mapapagaling. Hinihiling po namin na sana ipatnubayan po ito at patnubayan daw tayo ng divine interventions. Alright, so with that, si Ma'am Zarah, parting message natin.
Thank you ulit for having me back. Like you said, 6 years ko nang kinakareer to. I have a lot of information to share, a lot of, yung knowledge na lahat natutunan ko in California. And experience working with patients, working with legislators, working with the industry. Marami akong may tutulong with legislation, with advocacy, with raising awareness. So, happy to be back here, and anytime you need me again, I'll be here.
Kaso po, babalikan na po yata sa Australia, ma'am, ano?
Australia, California.
Sacramento, California pala.
No, I'll be back.
Sir Edison, pleasure to have you. Ano po ang ating masasabi at the same time, parting message po natin?
Okay, thank you po. So my parting message is, first of all, everybody, happy Independence Day. And happy Independence Day. So may we all be free sa mga outdated laws and outdated mindsets and sa mga tamad mag-isip, because talagang this is a wonderful thing, and I'd like to share that we have a Philippine flag made from hemp fabric. Sa mga friends namin, nakagawa po sila, and just hope everybody has a wonderful Independence Day ahead. Maraming salamat po.
Yung bang sinabi niyong mga tamad mag-isip ay address doon sa mga legislator, ang dami-dami nila doon. Anyway,
Bahala na kung sinong
bahala na sila mag-observe. So, another editions ng ating po na mga program. Lakay, magpapaalam na tayo. Magkagamit yan ng mic. Ayan.
Thank you for another Monday again for our advocacy. Marijuana.
Si Lakay po ay isa sa aming mga, sabi nga, Dean of Broadcast, na siya na lang talagang remaining among his batch. But with that, mga kaibigan, kami po ay nagpapasalamat again. Hopefully, see you on next Monday para sa panibagong presentations ng ating Media Health Forum dito po naman sa Quezon City. Sa ngalan ng Bauer Tech Corporation, ni Boss Richard Nixon Gomez, ako po si Edwin Eusebio. Maraming salamat. Magandang umaga.